Before we get off, I want to run through, and Alethea, if I miss any questions or comments, just let me know, but I'm going to just go through this chat really quick and see if there's anything that we need to speak to, unless you guys need to hop off.
No, we have the baby.
Yeah. Yes. Well, and we're just going to be a few minutes longer. We won't keep everybody too late. But Chad said, Charles, if you want to speak to this just very briefly, Chad said, as a single dad to 6 and 4-year-old boys, I have the same concern with them growing up in this point of their life without a mother figure. And Angie, you could even speak to that too. Just some words of encouragement to Chad.
So we're not perfect, and I'm not perfect. And as Angie said earlier, I question if what I'm doing is the right thing. And I pray about it, and I just know that I want to be the best father to my kids that I possibly can. And in doing that, I have to lean into him and ask and wait for the message, and then go deliver to the kids. So having the best answer and having the right answer are different when I have a 16-year-old girl who's wanting something, and the same thing with a 14-year-old boy. I just have to trust myself and trust him that what I'm saying and what I'm doing, being a role model and knowing that I'm always being looked at by them, is that I'm doing right and I'm doing the best I can. And hopefully they're going to ask questions if they can't get it or figure it out. And then I, in return, ask questions. Do you understand? Do you get it? What's missing? How can I help?
Yeah.
Are you okay? All those continuously doing that, even though they look perfect and they're all in their own little world, they're not ready for what's coming about them, and especially with what's going on here. So asking the right questions and being engaged and being there for them is just so important. And if they know that you're there for them and that you love them no matter what, unconditionally, and they constantly hear that from you, it's going to help you and it's going to help them going forward.
That's good. Thanks, Charles.
Hey, Michelle.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Andy.
I just want to add one thing to that, and I think that is, we forget that God has entrusted our children to us sometimes, and He puts us in the situations that we're in on purpose. There's a plan, right? And so I think that as parents, one of the things I've learned is that I give myself too much credit for attempting to do everything the right way and do everything the right way all the time. And I want to have everything perfect for my daughter. I want to be a great mom. I would love for her to have an amazing male role model in her life. And I would love for things to be perfect, but they're not, right? And so I have to remind myself daily that God is in full control of not just my life, but my daughter's life. And if that is something, I guess my comment would be that, if that is something that God really doesn't feel like you can handle on your own as a parent, He'll place the right person in your life. But in the meantime, He feels like you're probably doing a pretty awesome job by yourself. And so just keep that at the forefront of your mind, because, just trust Him. We just don't give Him enough. We don't offer our children up to Him enough. They're His children first. And so anyway, just trust Him with being mom, and trust Him with being dad too.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. This is just a comment from LD, and I know who she is, but I'm not going to reveal her. She says, I've been a single mom of 2 boys who are now teenagers for 12 years, and I constantly struggle with the enemy telling me I'm alone. And because of that, my boys will struggle in life. And then bam, Jesus will come in with a sermon, student ministry teachings, and leaders, milestones, classes, songs, and again, with this call. Thank you for sharing. I love learning from all of you. So way to go, you guys. Heath, I have a feeling this might be a question from Heath. It's from Heath and Kelly, but it says, question for any of the panelists, and the Beauvays, I'm going to have you answer this. What is the element of the old world or pre-corona? What did you think you'd miss, but you don't? And then what do you miss most?
I'll try.
Okay.
So we live in Fair Oaks Ranch, and my office is down on 10 and Heebner, so I do not miss the drive to work or the drive home.
Uh-huh.
That can be really long, or the drive all the way down to 1604 and Redlands Road to the school that the kids go to. So I don't miss any of that at all. But what do I miss most?
Uh-huh.
I don't have an answer for that one. Anything you miss most?
No, but I will say, so I get great pleasure out of my son playing basketball, and his season had just started, and it's like, it's just one of those activities I love watching him. And he was so excited for this season to begin, and he played one game and then whammo. So I would say, I was thinking about it, I'm like, that would be the one thing, just, that activity, watching him engage in that activity, and they'll get a million other chances for this. So it's not like, but at this moment in time, that was something that was an exciting thing that he enjoyed, and I enjoyed seeing him enjoy it.
Yeah. You don't know what you're going to miss until it's gone. So, well, thanks you guys. There's some other comments in there that you guys can read through. And Kevin and Tara and Eric and all of you, if you guys want to comment to anything on this chat, feel free to. But I want to, first I want to say that I don't know how many of you went through some tough circumstances back in 2008. My husband and I did, and the one thing, they're two different times, but they were both scary times for my husband and I. And we said the one difference is that the whole country is going through this. In 2008, it was like, well, it was spotty, it was, and I'll tell my family, I'm like, well, the Del Grecos are not going through this alone. The entire country is walking through this. And so parents, if you're still listening, and the parents who, all of the panelists, this is something that we're walking through together. And I hope that the parents that listened, they probably realize that, but we're all walking through this together, and you guys are being prayed for. I want to read a scripture, and then I'm going to close us in prayer, but thanks you guys for spending so much time with us tonight. Oh, Amy, I saw you kind of go like that.
It's prayer and scripture are much more important.
Go ahead. No, please.
One of the comments, and I know that they were just teasing, but one of the comments was more yelling. I wrote that down, because I was just being honest. We lost it, but I did want to say the question to which Eric was referring that sort of opened up that conversation that Kaylin, our daughter, was sharing. Like, why don't you push me on a swing anymore? Why do you do nothing but work? Why are you always behind a screen? The question was, it was really powerful, and I thought, how simple and yet how awesome for young children to be able to confront their parents in such a non-intimidating way was for us all to have a turn to ask each other around the table, what can I do to support you better?
Yeah.
It was a game changer. And God gave that to us that night. So we are grateful.
That's good. I'm writing that down too. I've learned a ton from you guys.